Alright, so, well, everyone, first of all, I'd like to apologize for taking so incredibly long at getting anything out. I mean, seriously. Mainly I was busy trying to get this working because I was having quite a lot of trouble getting set up to do what I wanted with this actually going at all, really. And I had this specific reason for wanting to do it uh, in a video as opposed to pictures and text like before. And that's because I wanted to go over this over here, the layers, because layers are important, as always. Alright, so first got this here. It's the normal default layer that you start off with for every picture you start. So, default layer, just nothing. There's not too much special about it, I guess. I don't know, it's just the basic default stuff. Tablet pen. You know, default stuff. So, got that. This has two functions. It's for right now. This here means that this layer is selected. This is the layer name, layer 1 right now. If you double click in that area, you can then change the name to whatever. See, whatever. This is the blend mode for the layer. Blend mode is something that I'll go over later. But that's what this normal means. Blend mode is also something very important. So, this is the opacity of the layer. Opacity, again, being something very important, of which I'll go over later. This is just the layer itself. It's like a preview window of the layer, of just that specific layer. So if you do specific things, like if you control plus left click, you can select everything on that layer. If you can control shift plus left click, you can add another layer to the selection. And if you control alt plus left click, you can subtract one layer from the selection. So, alright, being done. This button right here, it only has one function. If you click it, it'll turn the layer off. Click it again, it'll turn the layer back on. It can be useful when you have a ridiculous amount of layers and it's a bit hard to keep track of which layer has what specific color. Even if you name the layers, it can be a bit difficult to keep track of that. But naming them is definitely important because it can lower this how many layers you'd have to actually look through when you're trying to find a specific color or whatever. Which layer has a specific color, rather. If you click that button, you can just add another basic normal layer. So I guess I'll go over there. No, actually I'll go over this. Or this stuff. This is a folder. Folders have a lot of the same stuff. This is the folder icon. You can open and close it by clicking it. This turns the entire folder off and everything in it. This means the folder is selected. This is the folder's name. You can name folders in the same way that you can name layers. So, again, whatever folder. This, much like the normal layers, is the blend mode for the folder. And this, much like the normal layer, is the opacity for the folder. So, a very specific thing about folders you can just, if you click on a layer and then drag it up over top of the folder layer, you can put layers into the folder. So if I close it, the layers, they look like they're gone, but they're not. They're still there. It's just for organization, really. So if you're going to use folders, which I would recommend because they really help with organizing all of your layers. Um, yeah, it's best to create the folder and then create the layers in the folder itself, or create a layer and then drag it into the folder and then begin coloring or whatever you're going to do, because the folder will affect the colors and how your picture will look. And it's easier to do if you start using the layers when they're in the folder, as opposed to start doing it when they're not in the folder then putting them in, because the look will suddenly change. And so yeah. And anything you do here with the blend mode or 100%, clicking this on and off, it applies to every layer in the folder. So yeah, that's how this works. This is a special layer. It's size vector layer. It's indicated by that icon in this little pen icon right here. Like the normal layers, you can also name them by double clicking that. So I don't know, whatever vector layer. Or whatever vector layer. This, much like the normal layer in the folder, is the blend mode. This is for opacity again. And this is for like all the other layers, it turns this vector layer on and off. And this is again a preview window where the control click select to select and add and all that crap is still there. Now, there's the vector layer is very special because it has its own specific set of tools inside, all of which I'll be going over later. Its own specific tools and brushes, say pen, eraser. It has a pen and eraser, but the pen works differently here. It also has weight, color, edit, pressure, as select and deselect, and curve and line. Excuse me. Alright. Let's move these out. There we go. Close that. Alright, so here's some tools here. Let me just, I guess I'll turn that off. Choose a different color. Maybe I'll just choose a different tool to make this easier on myself. Alright, that'll do, I suppose. Or maybe not. I think I'll choose a different color. There we go. Alright. Maybe. There we go. Easier to see, not so goddamn bright. Let's color this a bit. There. Okay. Ooh. Grays being always a good thing to have. Alright. So this is what I was doing all the coloring for. This right here is drop layer content to the below. So what this will do, it'll add everything in this layer to this layer. Whatever's drawn in this layer will no longer exist. Here, it'll be moved down to here instead. So the layer itself will stay around. It just everything will be added into the below layer. So for example, there. See, there's everything. Nothing is in this layer anymore. But this layer has everything that was in that layer. See, just backspace that. This will merge these two layers. So if I click that button, this this layer will no longer, or should no longer exist. Instead, it'll be just this layer with everything that's on the two layers in one layer. So for an example, that, and again, it's just one layer was taken away, and now there's, yeah, everything from one layer is now in two, or everything in two layers is now in one. This, it'll clear everything on the layer. It won't erase the layer. Layer will still be there, but everything that was on it will be on. So, example, layer's cleared. Another example, cleared that layer. You know, this this layer will entirely remove the layer and everything that's on it. So, example, there, deleted two layers. Back.